this recruit, but further improvement is required before I can authorize you for full combat.
Free-to-play games can go many ways. They can be fantastic games with a forgiving yet strange business model. They can be terrible games with an unforgiving and hindering business model. Or they can be alright games with a business model that leans a little more towards hindering than helping. Here's some gameplay footage while you think about which of those Dust 514 belongs to. Doesn't it look cool? But the coolest part about it can't necessarily be seen in a clip. Dust 514 is developed by CCP, the guys behind the incredibly complex and ever-growing EVE Online. In Dust 514, a PS3 exclusive connects to EVE Online, a PC exclusive. That's pretty cool, and it's even cooler when you learn how limitless EVE Online is. It's a game built by player stories, experiences, and interactions, and Dust 514 offers first-person action for players that want to enter New Eden without devoting time and money to the PC MMO. Dust 514 mercs can be hired by EVE Online corporations and captains to help in galactic conquest, and as mentioned before, that's pretty cool. In fact, it's awesome, in theory. Because yeah, unfortunately, Dust 514 belongs to that last type of free-to-play game. I was extremely hyped for Dust 514, like more than I had any right to be considering I've never really played EVE Online. But its premise and promise drew me in right at the beginning of its closed beta. Ignoring the fact that it only relatively recently launched officially and is losing relevance as a multiplayer-only PS3 title with apparently no plans to migrate to the looming PS4, the game can be good all on its own. In a word, however, it's disappointing. As mentioned before, Dust 514 is a free-to-play first-person shooter, a novel idea on console. Unfortunately, novel doesn't mean good. As free as it is, Dust 514's gameplay and everything around it doesn't make me want to spend time and potentially money on it. The massive maps would be cool, but they all look the same. Drab, brown, and unimpressive. Vehicles are available for use, which is interesting, but so much of the fighting on these massive maps is constrained to small areas that usually render vehicles ineffective. I suppose the shooting feel is weighty and impactful enough, but as I mentioned, everything surrounding it doesn't do much to make me want to spend time getting guns that don't recoil like crazy and do minimal damage. Dust 514's free-to-play system is among the least fun to play I've encountered. One-liner. It'd be one thing if the incredible multitude of items were the only things available and necessary for purchase, but in order to use most, if not all items beyond the default equipment, you need to upgrade your skills. In order to upgrade your skills, you need to purchase skill books. And in order to use these skill books, you need to have enough skill points. It's a mess of a system, one that's only alleviated by real money. The developers need to make money somehow, I understand that, but my problem with Dust 514's free-to-play system is one that extends to most of the business model. And that's a whole nother topic. In any event, even with the introduction of real money, the deluge of unforgivingly complicated menus, items, and systems don't become any less unforgivingly complicated. It doesn't help that acquiring a notable amount of in-game currency takes a long time, even compared to other free-to-play games. Dying with equipment destroys it, so you have to constantly restock on weapons, armor, and everything in between. I mean, it makes sense in the real world, but in the game, insane. EVE Online's calling card is complication, and so it makes sense that Dust 514's is similar. But its apparently inviting free-to-play model spits in the face of its incredibly complicated reality. With time, navigating the menus and understanding the game's systems probably isn't so bad, but in the meantime, it puts off someone looking to find a fun first-person shooter. And the game isn't even really that, at its core. Its premise isn't even totally acted upon, as these EVE Corporation battles aren't always going on or accessible. Overall, Dust 514 is a disappointing release. I had hopes that some of the beta issues would be resolved, and while some cool things were added and annoying things were fixed, the final product doesn't represent something I want to spend a lot of time on. Check it out since it's free, but don't be surprised if you feel the need to leave it in the dust. I just had to.
CC destroyed. Area secured.